Okay, so you are now streaming live and I made you host again. Can you please make me co-host as I'll be TAing this class as well?
Okay.
And do you have any special requests? Like, how do you want to take the questions? Do you want me to send you over chat or do you want me to speak up?
You can just alert me if there's a question, and you can just sort of read it out to me, because when I'm sharing my screen, I can't always see this chat, but I'm pretty good at seeing it. But if I'm missing something and it's been a while, I usually ask everybody to put their electronic hand up if they have a question. This
Okay,
class does tend to get a lot of questions because I'm talking about some different ailments. So we'll see how it goes
okay,
today. I don't know how busy the class is. I don't think it's that busy.
sure.
Uh,
Got
yeah, we have about 30 people today. Yeah,
okay,
other than that, just if I mention something, I might say, mention an author. I don't think in this class I do, but you can put the author's name in the chat if you want. It's up to you, however comfortable you feel.
okay, got it.
All right. Welcome to class, everybody. Good to see you all.
Okay. There we go.
There. Hi, Donna. Nice to see you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. If anybody who, oh, there we go. Natalie's got her name up there. That's nice. Because otherwise, either if you call in, hi, Natalie, if you put if it's your phone number, we don't know who you are, but if you want to change change it from your phone number, it's easy to do. Just ask for help if you don't know how to do that. All right. I'll just wait a couple minutes. We have I think 30 people signed up for today, but we'll see who shows up. It is it's towards the end of the day right now. Well, it's 3:30 my time. I'm on the West Coast.
Oh, okay.
But for some of you, it could be like after dinner even.
Yeah, it's 5:30 in Chicago.
Okay, yeah. So it's a bit late. I don't usually teach this late. I don't really have a say when they schedule me, but I've taught 3 other classes already this morning, but this is the last one for the day for me. Okay. So welcome everyone. We are here for natural remedies. So just in case you forgot what you signed up for, that's just to make sure that this is what you're wanting. And I will just get my screen ready here to share. I'll just start the recording as well. And I'm going to start by sharing my screen because that's probably a great spot to be. There we go. So welcome to Natural Remedies. This is a class I created. Well, this was not my first class to create, but I do believe I set this one up after my 7 Healings food class because I was getting a lot of questions about certain ailments and like what would be something good and natural to use for such a thing. And so it got me thinking about another class on natural remedies. Hence, here we are with this class. So we are going to cover 7 common ailments. These are just ones that either yourselves have mentioned to me that you would like some information on. These are just interesting sort of everyday things that are pretty common. And so what can we do other than what maybe our doctor has prescribed for us if you're on a form of medication? So as we get started, I'll just say my name is Ravina. For any of you that have not met me yet, if you've taken health and wellness classes, you probably have been in one of my classes. I am from Canada and I live on the West Coast. I'm in Victoria, BC, Canada. For any of you that have traveled this far over here, not too far from Seattle, about 2 hours north of Seattle. I've had an interest in health and wellness my whole entire life. Did my nursing degree, and then I did a functional nutrition program that really set me off into the whole prevention side of things. And so here I am. This is the area that I love, and I love to teach this area. So we do learn from each other. If you can, I would ask that you maybe put your camera on even just for a few moments, just so we can see who you are. And you can also, if you go into your square and go to the top right-hand corner, there's 3 dots. If you click that, you can change the name that's showing up. So if you've got a phone number up or a name that doesn't mean anything to us, maybe in a different Zoom room it does, you can change your name just for this class. So you can go ahead and do that if you'd like. We have Harry from support helping us out for technical things, and also to help coordinate any questions. If we get too many questions in the chat, he'll let me know. So feel free to reach out to Harry. You can reach out to him in the chat, and you can directly send the message just to him if you'd like. So that's that. If you would like a recording, you can ask for that at help@getsetup.io. We do live stream some of our classes, and today this class is being live streamed. What does that mean exactly? Well, we have a TV, like a channel now on our website, and if you click it, you get a little peek into a class that's going on already. So hi to all of you out there on live stream. And also hi to Arlene, and there's Sam. I see you guys. I haven't seen you in a while, but it's great to have you in class. And just a reminder, we do not get paid any for any promotions. Like if I talk about a service or a product or anything like that, it's just because it's something that I might like. So it's nothing to do with being paid to talk about something. Like sometimes in commercials or in TV shows, you know, they show some kind of product, and it's so obvious it's product placement. Okay, so as we get started here, I'm just going to, there's just a couple more people, looks like a few more people are signing up. Hi, Christine, nice to see you. So today, what is on the agenda? Lots of really great stuff. We're going to understand the healing power of plants, herbs, spices, and food. Now, I do talk about that in my 7 healing foods course, all about foods. Today, it's going to be either a food, a plant, a spice, or you know, an herb, one of those 4 things. We're going to learn a teeny tiny history lesson. I'm not like a big history buff, but just to talk a little bit about where this all came from, like natural medicine. And we are also going to talk about 7 natural remedies, and there might be more than one natural remedy for one of the ailments, and I've picked 7 ailments, and I'm sure they're familiar with you, and you may have experienced one of these in your lifetime, or at least you'll know what to do if you do experience this in the future. All right, so just want to make sure everybody's good. You can all see my screen. You can hear and see me. And the last thing just to mention to you, as I said, Harry is there to give us a little bit of help if we need help. And on the bottom of your screen, there's a reactions button. I love that because if you click on that, you can give me a thumbs up if you agree on something, or a clap because you really agree on something, or use it to however you, yeah, there you go. I love that. I love that because I see it right away, and I can see that somebody's listening, or that you are agreeing with me, or, you know, or maybe you don't agree with me and you put your hand up, and that's okay. Put your hand up and I'll see it. Then we can have a conversation. You can share your experience, or share or ask a question, because it's sometimes better to ask the question when I'm talking about it versus at the end of the thing when it doesn't make any sense anymore. So here's my first question to all of you, and you can just sort of nod or give the thumbs up. Have any of you used a plant or an herb or a spice or a food to heal a body ailment or a symptom that you've had? Anything recently? Yeah, you have? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you have as well. Marlene has, and Bev. It's interesting how, you know, we forget that we have some really amazing foods and healing plants on this earth, because it's almost like we have forgotten, because there's so many packaged foods now and processed foods that we're not always getting whole foods anymore. We forget because we go for the convenience. Aloe vera, yeah, for sunburns. I have a little bottle of aloe vera. The only thing I ask if you buy it as a bottle versus the plant is check the ingredients and make sure aloe vera is part of the ingredients, because you'd be surprised how sometimes it's like the 8th ingredient and you're putting some other concoction on your skin. But even an aloe vera plant, you can clip a little piece off, and that beautiful jelly, put it right on your skin. Your skin loves aloe vera. All right. So I'm just going to ask that, well, I can do it as well. Just anybody who is not speaking, just to put yourself on mute. And when you do want to speak, you can just take yourself off of mute. So we were all getting a little bit better at Zoom since we all started on Zoom, a year and a half ago. I guess it's been almost, I didn't even know what Zoom was before that. Honestly, didn't know. Okay, so let's look at natural remedies. They've been around forever and ever and ever, like thousands of years. So places like China, India, Greece, Egypt, they've been using medicinal plants for forever. Other countries as well. I just named off 4 that I'm familiar with. Our indigenous people in everywhere that we live, we have indigenous people here in Canada, and I'm sure in the rest of North America. They've been relying on plants forever for healing. I mean, they have healers that just specifically give out plants for whatever the condition is. So it's just neat to sort of see where this has come from. Since the beginning, we've actually just been experimenting with plants to figure out how it can heal us. So think of it, since we're all kind of on this with thinking about vaccines, or may or maybe not, we're kind of like this big clinical trial for medicinal plants, because we test things, we try things. Even today, there's new things are discovered, and they're combining things, they're trying out different things. It's possible that our ideas about curative powers from plants came from observing our animals. So this word, takes me a bit to say it, but let me try again. Zoopharmacognosy. Zoopharmacognosy. That's the behavior in which animals apparently self-medicate themselves by picking and choosing certain plants that they eat. Now, we've seen that. I'm pretty sure if anybody has domestic animals at home, I don't right at the moment, but when I did, I used to see this. Anybody have a cat or dog that will go and eat a bit of grass? Yeah. When their tummy is not feeling good, or they've just eaten some, or they're just not feeling great, and they want to, get rid of whatever's bugging them, what do? They look for grass, and they go and they chomp on the grass, and that is an instinct. Like they've learned to do that. I didn't know about dogs because I haven't owned a dog, but I know cats definitely do it. So I'm pretty sure both do this. The chimpanzee has been known to seek out the Aspelia plant, and the Aspelia plant, specifically those leaves, helps to kill parasites in our bodies. So if a monkey's feeling like, I don't know, not feeling very good, and maybe they feel like they've got some parasites, they will look for these leaves and specifically eat these leaves versus some other leaf. So I do believe that we've been watching what animals are doing. We also, as humans, have been checking and experimenting with certain plants and that. Has anybody, this is totally off topic, but on topic, has anybody watched that show Outlander? It's a little bit, well, there's some graphic stuff in there because it's about way back in the day, and it's a bit of a time traveling kind of thing. So this lady she goes back in time, but she was a doctor. She trained to be a doctor in modern times. But so now she's way back in those times. So what does she do? She's looking for something for insulin. She's looking for something for, for some of the medicines of common day. So she's looking to try and replicate that back then when what did she do? She had to go find plants and berries and herbs and things like that. So yeah, so if you haven't watched Outlander, that's fine. It's still on TV. It's on Netflix, and it's quite interesting to see what they did back when we didn't, like things like penicillin wasn't created yet or discovered. So today's society, we have many doctors in different aspects of well, you'll see there's a list, but there's lots of natural medicine type doctors that will look at herbs or spices or foods or recommend that to you if you go see them. Now, I'm not talking about your Western medicine family doctor. They may or may not have experience with this, but I'm talking about specific doctors. Now, can anybody think of a name of a type of doctor that would do that?
Holistic.
Holistic,
What?
yes.
Naturopathic doctor.
Yeah, naturopaths, absolutely. Yeah, those are some real good ones. Yeah, so sorry, AS, I don't know what your name is, but yeah, you asked about aloe vera. Yeah, the gel from the aloe plant is very safe and is very soothing, and you can put it right on your skin. It's good for burns, it's good for cuts. It's good for any kind of, even I've heard people will put it on psoriasis, like any kind of skin irritation. They'll put it on any kind of irritation on the skin. Aloe vera will soothe it. So let's have a look. So we've named a few. So we've got our naturopathic doctors. We've got traditional medicine doctors. Those are the TCM. We call them TCM. Ayurvedic doctors in India and elsewhere. We have Ayurvedic doctors that will use plants and things. herbal medicine somebody mentioned. And then we even have our Aboriginal doctors, and they call them bush medicine. They call it bush medicine. Now, this is really intriguing to me because they don't just look at the physical, what's going on with you physically. It's more of an interplay between physical, emotional, social, and spiritual. That's fascinating to me. So these bush medicine specialists will help with your well-being, but look at the whole thing. So they'll look at you and say, yes, your blood pressure's high, but you are carrying worrisome thoughts of, they can sense it from looking at the whole person and look at all these different areas. So find that really, really fascinating. Acupuncture, yes, acupuncture as well. A lot of acupuncturists do have TCM as their main thing, but they might do acupuncture and also recommend an herb to go with what they've just done. Donna's mentioned here about putting on a blister from pulling out some dill plants. Okay, so you found it. So nothing works. So you finally cut off aloe. Yeah, and isn't that amazing? It really is a soothing, natural leaf, and it's really easy to grow. For any of you non-green thumbs, aloe vera plants just kind of take care of themselves. And if a little piece of the aloe vera falls off, you can actually plant it and grow another aloe vera plant. It's really quite fun. So we've now established that there are thousands and thousands of plants and herbs and food that are healing, but I've chosen about seven-ish, because I'm going to talk about 7 of these ailments. So let's get started so we don't run out of time. The first ailment is high sugar, blood sugar in our blood. Now, you don't have to be diabetic to have high sugar levels in your blood. You could be what they consider pre-diabetic. I'm actually working on a diabetic management and what am I calling it? Diabetes management, type 2 diabetes management, and what's the word I'm using? Sort of reversal or remission. And what I'm discovering and researching, that there's a lot of people in North America that are pre-diabetic. And what does pre-diabetic mean? Well, it means before you become diagnosed with diabetes, you're kind of on your way there, because your sugar levels are not where they should be to be considered normal. They're kind of like getting closer to like diabetes. So many people are pre-diabetic and don't even know it. So knowing how to reduce the glucose levels in your blood is really important. Very, very important. Now, why is that? Because if you have glucose staying in your blood, you can have some really bad symptoms leading to disease if the sugar level stays too high in your blood. How does that happen? Well, you're eating a lot of sugary things. You're eating a lot of breads, like white carbohydrates, and a lot of sugary things. And what happens is your body can't keep up. So your pancreas is doing its best to create the insulin and get that insulin into the blood to take care of it. But 2 things happen. It can't keep up, and your body's become less sensitive to the insulin it's pushing out. So the insulin goes into your bloodstream, but instead of taking out all of the glucose, it's taking out only a little bit. So your sensitivity is decreased. So when people say you have, what do they call it? Resistant insulin. It's because your body's you've just worn it out. Like you've been too much sugary stuff. So what can we do to help ourselves when we know we've had a big sugary, whatever it is we've had? So the natural remedy for this is cinnamon. Cinnamon has been researched and studied. It's a fragrant spice that comes from the bark of the Ceylon tree. It's very versatile. Most of us consider cinnamon something that goes with a sweet. So, cinnamon buns or anything like that. But actually, cinnamon can go in savory dishes like soups and stews. I had a lady from Greece that was in one of my first few classes on natural remedies, and she said there's a few Greek dishes that actually puts cinnamon in their savory dish. So it might feel weird to do it because cinnamon smells sweet, but it doesn't actually have a sweet taste. We think it does. It's more the fragrance of it. The studies have shown that on a fasting glucose test, it can actually bring down the blood glucose level. It also improves the sensitivity, which we just talked about, insulin sensitivity. Your insulin's a little bit more accurate in knowing and dealing with the glucose that's in your veins, in your arteries. And it also can help improve your lipids, your fat level in the blood. So cinnamon's very powerful. I have had people ask me about cinnamon. Does it come in pills? Yes, you can get it in pills. Cinnamon to me is like amazing. I can just put it in my oatmeal. I put it in my applesauce. I use cinnamon a lot. I put it in my smoothie. I shake a little bit in my smoothie. So if you really wanted it in tablet form, you could have it in tablet form, but I would check with your doctor to just make sure it's not gonna, be a problem with any of your medications. All right, so that is the, and I should have said this in the very, very beginning. Anything that I'm giving you as a natural remedy has been proven, like scientifically, like it's been in study after study after study. This isn't just sort of like, hey, I heard this might work. These are things that have been shown to work. Marlene's mentioning witch hazel has aloe in it. Yes, witch hazel, you can get witch hazel in a nice tonic, and that's really great for bringing down swelling as well. So if you've got like inflammation, and it's very cooling, like aloe, you just put it on a little cotton ball, and you can like press it on your whatever's sort of swollen. So again, the healthiest way to ingest cinnamon would be to not necessarily have it with a sugary dessert, because then you're kind of defeating the purpose of the cinnamon, unless that's the sugary dessert you're having and you want to kind of help that sweetness that you're having. But you can put it in your warm oatmeal. You can put it in soups and stews. I would put it in a smoothie. Where else can you put it? I just say try it in a number of different things, and just see. You can sprinkle a little bit if you're making sweet potato, like on vegetables. You can sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon. See what you like. If you don't like it, have a little bit less of it. All right, now we're going to move on to the second one, because I want to make sure we give a good ample time for each one of these ailments. So here's something. Hair thinning. Now, I'm not referring to like the hair baldness, like moderate to like more severe hair loss. There's things like medical conditions like alopecia, where people like lose patches of hair in places. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring more to, and if you're an older woman, you in menopause, you might have experienced a little bit of thinning of your hair, and you're just like, why can I see my scalp so well now? I don't like it. Do I have a bald spot back there? Always checking to make sure that, that thinner hair spot is not showing. It can happen. And it does have a lot to do with lifestyle habits. It can be genetics. It can be both. It can be both. What are the lifestyle habits that will affect your thinning hair? Well, over treating your hair, using harsh products on your hair, even wearing your hair too tight. I see all these millennials, like younger people, usually younger than me, because it's the style. They pull their hair so tight and they put it, they have like the little bun up on the top of their head. I see it at the gym. A lot of the younger women will do that. And it's like, if you keep pulling your hair really tightly, that's not it's not great for your hair. You could be low in iron, and you could be low in other trace minerals. So that could be it. There could be some kind of chronic stress happening that you're not even aware of. And you could have an underlying medical condition. So often when people have thyroid issues, it affects their hair, especially for women. That's a common one. So the best cure, natural cure for thinning hair, guess what that is? Get rid of that chronic stress. I mean, it's easier said than done. I get it. Because when I'm in the midst of a chronic stressful situation, oh my gosh, like it's not that easy. And guess what? Usually your hair thinning shows up 4 months after the stressful time. So for instance, my hair stylist knows when a woman is pregnant, after they have their baby, about 4 months later, their hair changes. Their hair is thinner. 4 months after pregnancy, after having your baby, because the stress level goes up. You're probably not sleeping as well, especially if it's your first child. You're just like, it's something happens with the hormones, and you can have thinning hair. So it can be at any time of life. It could be the menopause time. It could be after having a baby, but chronic stress is the big one. So try to reduce your chronic stress. Easy enough for me to say, but you know, typically we should be losing we lose between 50 and 100 single hairs a day, more in the summer because we sort of shed then in the summertime, if you didn't know that. So keep that in mind. But here's the natural remedies I want you to consider from a food perspective or from a plant perspective. I want you to get your iron checked and your zinc levels checked, and you can ask your doctor to add it to your blood requisition. To get your, definitely iron you can get checked. I'm not sure how easy they check your zinc levels. The other thing that you might be low in is B7. That's the biotin. Now, you know, when you go to the pharmacy or go to these, you know, stores with natural stuff and you see biotin's good for strengthening your hair. That's why, because biotin B7 is known to help with your hair. But remember what I've said, always check the ingredients. Is biotin the last ingredient on a list of a bunch of chemicals? Like, that's not going to help your hair. So be cognizant of that when you're looking. But where can we get biotin B7 naturally? That's what I want to know. Omega-3. Well, nuts, lentils, and liver. Nuts, lentils, and liver. Those are your big ones for B7. I like it in food. Why? Because it's kind of like my nutritionist explained. It's not one note, it's the symphony. Do you know what I mean? It's the symphony. So you want to get you don't want to have so much B7 supplement that you put all your other B vitamins out of whack. So when you eat it in food, it's already naturally, synergistically, if you know that word, synergistically, in the proper amount. AS is asking, any kind of nut. Yes, most nuts will have these trace minerals in them. So that's the lucky thing about our nuts, because we have some amazing nuts out there. Peanuts are not nuts, by the way. Peanuts are not a nut. So that's not, I'm not talking about peanuts, but I would say almonds are popular, macadamia nuts. Walnuts are amazing. Yes, they are a legume. That's right. So the other thing for our hair, omega-3s, and on any of my other classes on the brain, on eyes, on the heart, omega-3 fatty acids keep coming up. Wow. We are all typically low in omega-3s. Why is that? I don't know. Well, number one, we don't manufacture it. We can't manufacture it in our bodies. It is something we have to ingest. Same with things like, well, for example, vitamin D. We can manufacture vitamin D if we get some sunshine, but we cannot manufacture omega-3. Just like there's, I think, 11 amino acids we cannot manufacture in our body. We have to get it from our protein, amino acids. So omega-3s are in fatty fish, sardines, salmon, tuna, mackerel. They're in things like the seeds, like flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds. So play around. If you do have thinning hair, give yourself the 4 months. It takes that much time to like build it up. It took 4 months to show up. So give it 2 or 3 months to kind of like get going, and you will notice a difference with your hair. Believe me, like I've known when I'm out of that chronic stress situation and I take care to make sure I'm eating more vegetables and nuts and seeds, my hair improves. And I don't need to go buy an expensive hair supplement or anything. You can do it with food. That's what we're here about today.
I noticed you have avocados on there on your tray. Is that avocados is good for hair too?
Avocado is great because avocado is the good fat and it has the omega-3s in it. It's the good mono unsaturated fat. I love avocados. Yeah, this was just a picture that I picked. I could add it to my to the list, but avocados is fantastic.
Okay. And I have another question. My hair was shedding so bad, I was afraid to comb it.
Yes, I've been there.
Because, and when I would wash my hair, it would just be balls of hair. And,
Yeah.
and so, you know, it was coming out so
Yeah.
frequently. I didn't know what to do, because when I go to my dermatologist, they say the same thing. So I stopped going. I'm like, you know, I come here every year for the same problem, and
Mhm.
we don't fix it. I want you to find out what's wrong.
Right.
And so I stopped going, and I just start taking care of my body myself first,
Yes.
with food
Yes.
and what I was putting in my system, and with stress. And it got better. I don't have the bald spot every year like I used to get.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your story. I mean, I love to hear stories, because, you know, sometimes we're vulnerable when we share a story, especially like for women, especially women. I don't know, men seem to kind of know that their hair is going to thin, but for women, it's like, it's scary. I don't like it. A friend of mine said she noticed in the shower, like hair coming out, clogging the drain, because so much hair was coming out. And it's scary. You just think, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to start wearing a wig? Like, it's very scary. The number one thing is you've got to reflect and think about what is stress. What's the stressful thing in your life? Even if it's a low level stress, it's been going on too long. Number two is our hormones, especially for women and men too, but our hormones can cause havoc. And so we need to kind of balance our hormones. And how do we do that? By taking care of our whole body as a whole. Our hair is just a symptom. The thinness in hair is a symptom that you're not taking care of your body, and you got to balance it again. So a dermatologist might say, hey, try this cream, try this pill, try this. Fine, that's fine if that's something you want to do, but start working at the root of the issue. And the root is to balance your body again. Balance it with, you know, have a little handful of nuts versus having a bag of chips that has 0 minerals and vitamins in it. Up your vegetables, your green, like, just get your body healthy again. And guess what? Your hair improves. I can say without a doubt, it takes time though. It takes some time.
Okay, I heard up your nuts, but then you froze on the other part.
Okay. So nuts, there's many different nuts that you can eat, whatever you like whatever you love. I like pistachio nuts, and I like them in the shell, so I don't overindulge with them. And I like the salt on the out shell, the shell. So I buy 1 bag of pistachios in the shell, and I put it in a little container, and I take out my 20 or whatever I'm going to eat for the day, and I take my time, you know, and I like the salt. That's just me. But if you had pistachios out of the shell already, you can eat them pretty quick, right? So that's not probably the best for you. But you can crush pistachios and put it on the outside of your fish and fry your fish that way, or bake your fish that way. There's many ways to get really good nuts. You know what you can do also? You can crumble walnuts, say for example, on your oatmeal, and get some protein and the nice oils in your oatmeal. After you've cooked your oatmeal, you add it to the top like a topping.
I'm just going to say this one thing. I tried your chunky apple sauce with Fuji apples.
Yes.
I didn't have to put any sweetener in it at all. I put all my cinnamon, ginger, mace, spices, and I let it cook down, and it was absolutely delicious.
I love that. See, so anybody who has not taken that class, what I said was, try it only once. If you don't like it, then put all the sugar you want in it. That's your business. But I said, if you slow cook your apples, it allows the apples to release their natural sugars. And it is absolutely delicious. It's like the one I tell the story. It's frustrating when you make a beautiful dinner and somebody takes a salt shaker and starts shaking salt on, and they haven't tasted the food yet. We just think that apples will be tart and we have to add sugar. And then you end up adding more sugar than you need. So I say you need 0 sugar, because there's already lots of beautiful sugar, natural sugar in apples. So thank you for sharing that. That's a great story. All right.
You're welcome.
So is everybody good? Does anybody have a question on the last 2 things, the thinning hair and the first one, the glucose in the blood? Anybody? Okay. Let's get on to the third one, anxiety. Okay, anxiety. We all have life circumstances when we might have anxious situations. because that's part of life. We live in kind of a chaotic world, right? It can be chaotic. There all that uncertainty last year of like, what does pandemic mean? Never heard that word, not in my lifetime. What does it actually mean? We have anxiety as part of normal life, but some of us might experience a little bit more anxiety. Maybe we live on our own now. Maybe a loved one has passed away. We're by ourselves. Maybe we're anxious and worried about a child, a son or daughter that might not be doing that great. Maybe we're just worried in general. What can we do to improve those anxiety levels that can creep up on us sometimes? Going unchecked, anxiety can become quite crippling. So don't be afraid whenever it comes to mental illness and mental health, I should say, let's call it mental health instead of mental illness. People, there's such a, what is the word? Stigma against mental health. I don't know why, but it just is. I'm glad more of our stars, movie stars and professional athletes are coming forward and saying, hey, I've suffered from depression. I have suffered from anxiety, because there's nothing to be ashamed of if you've had anxiety in your past or even right now. So let's have a look at what can we do. And sometimes people don't even notice, a person's withdrawn and go, oh, they're not very talkative. Maybe they're going through a bout of anxiety and they're terrified to maybe leave their house or go grocery shopping. There's a lot of things to have anxiety about in today's world. So there's a huge list here. What things can we do for any kind of anxiety, even if it's an acute, like a little temporary thing that's happened to us? Staying active can help you get your body stronger. It will help with the anxiety. Drinking no to minimal alcohol will really help with your mood if you are suffering from anxiety. Even possibly ditching the caffeine for a while, even because coffee, we don't realize if we're already kind of anxious, sort of like kind of moving like this, and you have caffeine, well, we know what that does. It'll make us a little bit more jittery. There's lots of little natural things that we can do, like practicing deep breathing. There's a breathing called box breathing. So deep breathing, you count 5 as you breathe in, then you hold for 5, hold it, then you release for 5. And you can do this, what they call box breathing, and it will trick your body in a sense to go from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system. And that you're sending the brain you're sending a message to your brain that you are calm just by doing this, what we call box breathing. It's not up on the screen, but I thought I'd share it with you all. So it's really simple. It's 5 in, 5 hold, 5 release. And when you get good at that type of breathing, you can even do another 5 hold at the bottom. So 5 in, 5 hold it, 5 out, 5 hold it, and then breathe in again. So that gets you into a rhythm. Improving our quality of sleep. We always talk about sleep and how important it is for us. We can try doing different forms of meditation. Now, you don't have to be the guru and sit quietly for 20 minutes. Like, you could meditate for 2 minutes. There's this really neat app, and I can't remember what it's called, but this app was really neat, and it had this circle on it, and it had this circle that would go big and small, and it helped you to breathe. Like you would breathe with the way the circle would get bigger and smaller. Again, that's another way to meditate. You could get into this deep breathing and then close your eyes for a few minutes. Improving on our diet, and we've talked a little bit about just having an improved diet can help bring that anxiety level down. Aromatherapy is a lovely way. Yes, Calm app, that's the one. It's kind of cool. When I first saw it, like it just starts to make you breathe exactly like what's going on the screen, and it's a little bit addictive. Aromatherapy. Now, I have lots of little essential oils in my home. Most of them are food grade, so I can put like a lemon drop in my water. So they're food grade, meaning you can ingest it. This one you don't ingest. This is frangipani, which is also called plumeria, and it's a beautiful, beautiful smelling flower from Hawaii. And I love this smell. I just keep it at my desk and I do just this. You can put it in a diffuser as well. but I just smell it because this was my mother's favorite flower. Oh, you've got some too at your desk. That's nice. I love it. Like before you're going to do something that it is maybe a little bit, you're going to be a bit nervous about something. You just need to ground yourself or calm yourself using an aromatherapy fragrance, and pick something that you like. It doesn't have to be, you know, like, because everybody else says that it's the one. I'm just going to write it in here. So it's called Plumeria. That's probably the best name. Let me just see here. Like a Plumeria. Oops, Plumeria. That's the other name is Frangipani, but I'll just give you guys that name. I'm not sure if I'm going to spell Frangipani right. Frangipani, I think, is the other name. I just love the smell of that. And everybody has their favorites. So it's wonderful. What about spending time with animals? It has been proven to help bring our anxiety levels down. Have you noticed that they have animals in certain places now? Yeah, like the airport, you know, where we all get a little bit stressed. We're flying, we've missed our flight, the flight's late, we're going to miss our connecting flight. And they have these dogs and the owners that have been hired to stand in the airports. It's not just for the 5-year-old, it's for us older people too, to like come up and pet the animal and just have a little chat. Where else? Hospitals. Have you seen it in the front of your hospital or in the lobby of the hospital? Here where I live, they have these trained therapy dogs. I think just dogs. I haven't seen cats. I'd love to see a cat, but they're there to calm us, help our anxiety. What about weighted blankets? Has anybody tried that? It's the new rage, apparently. I just have like a comforter cover that's got a bit of weight to it, but apparently these weighted blankets, you can get different weights. So I don't know, maybe people feel safer when the blanket's really heavy on them, but that can help with anxiety. All right, let us move on to, oh yeah, patchouli. That's a nice, lovely one. I love that one. That's very nice. All right, what else can help with anxiety? The winner, clear winner, is lavender. Beautiful. I love the color. Even the color calms me. Lavender is, the evidence is out there. Oral lavender. You can even put lavender in your tea, and that can help to calm your nerves. The other one is passion fruit. No, sorry, passion flower. I love passion fruit, by the way, but that's not what I meant. Passion flower is usually mixed with a few other herbs. And chamomile, we know about chamomile kind of calming you before you go to bed. So that's also, like, you see it in the sleepy teas, they'll have chamomile. Yeah, doesn't that picture just sort of calm you? That purple is one of my favorite colors. All right, let's get on to the fourth ailment, edema, which is another word for swelling. Anybody experience this, especially in the summertime? Yeah, me too. I get it in my ankles for some reason in the summertime. So this could be possibly because of medication that you're taking. It could be because of weight gain. It could be from standing on your feet too long, having ill-fitted shoes, and also our diet and our lifestyle, if our lifestyle is a bit sedentary. So what do we do for edema? The number one thing is probably your body is dehydrated. Sounds weird, but your body hoards water if it feels like it doesn't have enough water. So if you have swollen ankles, the first thing you could do, which sounds counterintuitive, but drink some water, get some good water into you, because your body is hoarding what it has because you haven't been giving it enough water. Other things that can help are compression socks, even a cool bath in Epsom salt, or even elevating your feet above your heart. Though all those things can help if you've got swelling, particularly in your ankles. If you're finding you've got swollen, like you're holding water even in your face, a lot of us do in our face, and feeling bloated, you might be low in magnesium. So how can we get more magnesium in our body naturally? Almonds are huge for magnesium. Tofu, cashews, so two nuts, spinach, broccoli, and avocados. Avocados are high in magnesium. But I would suspect your number one reason for swelling is dehydration. That's a big one. Any questions? No. All right, high blood pressure. This is a biggie. This one comes up a lot because we may or may not know, but when you have high blood pressure over time and you don't take care of it, you are damaging your heart. Permanent damage when you have high blood pressure that goes on and on too long. It really can damage your heart. I hope that if you do have high blood pressure or you feel like you might have high blood pressure, that you go see your doctor, because your doctor will likely prescribe a medication. And why is that? Because they don't want your heart to get damaged. So we need to get your blood pressure back into the norm. And then you can do all these great lifestyle natural remedies to try to naturally get your blood pressure back in place. But you want to take care of that right away. So typically you need a medication, and your doctor will be the best person to help you with that. There's many different blood pressure medications out there, by the way. What can you do naturally? So say you've realized you have high blood pressure, you're on medication, you don't want to be on medication, you want to take care of it naturally. What can you do? Well, you can start exercising regularly. And I mean, like every day, move your body a little bit. Either you take a dance class, or you go to a swim class, or you just walk around your block 3 different times in the day. If that's all you have, you can split it up. You don't have to do it all at once. I would like you to look at managing your stress, cutting back on the caffeine possibly, and also reducing the amount of alcohol. All of those things will help if you've got high blood pressure. Now, unfortunately, high blood pressure can be hereditary. So you know what? You might be of a good weight, optimal weight. You might not even eat that much salt. You might feel like, hey, I'm not even stressed. Why do I have high blood pressure? It can be hereditary. It can be in the your genetic disposition, unfortunately. So if you have high blood pressure, don't beat yourself up over it. Maybe you're doing all the good lifestyle things, but it could be a hereditary version of high blood pressure. The one thing for you to check, which I would love you to check, is your potassium levels in your body. Low potassium can sometimes come out as high blood pressure. So we need high foods and high in potassium. Those would be the dark green leafy vegetables, the bananas, apricots, nuts again, and seeds and beans. And I sort of laugh at this. I sort of think about it. Well, if I only ate all these amazing whole foods and had my magnesium stores up to where they need to be, my potassium stores, I wouldn't have any ailments. I wouldn't need to be on any medication. It almost feels like if you're going to eat all these green leafy vegetables, you're just going to feel so much better. And the blood pressure is just going to naturally get back to where it needs to be. The other very interesting one, because I didn't want it to be all bad news, is eating dark chocolate, like the dark kind, I mean 70% or higher, has so many beautiful flavonoids in it that it actually, this is how it reduces your blood pressure. So pay attention. It relaxes your blood vessels. So when your blood vessels are more relaxed, it just naturally lowers your blood pressure. So I'll leave it to you how much dark chocolate you want to eat, and I don't mean milk chocolate, and I don't mean the ones with all the added sugar and all that. I mean like the really good chocolate. And there's some really great chocolatiers out there that make amazing chocolate. You can Google it. You can have it delivered to your home. You know, I haven't done it in a while, but there are some amazing chocolates out there. All right, we got 2 more left, so we're making good time. The 6th one is psoriasis. Any of us that have psoriasis on our skin will know that stress often triggers a psoriasis, or even eczema, or I say eczema. All of a sudden they started saying eczema, and I thought that sounds weird. But whichever way you like to say it, eczema or eczema is another skin condition. The main thing is stress. Stress can trigger it. If you've got it in your DNA to have psoriasis, and it's like a red patch and it doesn't look great, and you don't like it, you wear pants to cover up the psoriasis patch. It seems to me like it's pretty even between men and women. I think just as many men, if not more, have psoriasis versus women. Often the woman gets the bad end of the stick, and we have 3 times more Alzheimer's, for example. We have 3 times more of something. But when it comes to psoriasis, I think it's pretty even amongst the men and women. Meditation, yoga, deep breathing, all of these things can help to reduce your stress, therefore can help to not have a psoriasis outbreak happen. Often we have too dry air around us, so moisturizing the air, so having a humidifier on can help with any skin irritations like psoriasis. Maintaining healthy weight also, unfortunately, is one of the things for psoriasis. But what is the main thing that can help? 2 things, and we've talked about both of these already. Aloe vera actually helps with psoriasis. It helps with the redness, the scaliness, the itchiness, and the inflammation, all 4 things it helps with. And there's our beautiful omega-3 fatty acids again. Are we low in omega-3 fatty acids? Yes. Our ratio is skewed. We're supposed to have 1-to-1, omega-3s and omega-6s. Most of us have 15-to-1. Do you see the big discrepancy? 15 omega-6s to 1 omega-3. Why? Because it's in 6s are in plant oils. What do they make plant oils with? Every single packaged food on earth, like all our packaged foods, all of our convenience foods, they use the cheapest canola oil, all these oils. Now, I'm not going to be down on those particular oils, but we get too much of it. And our ratio gets skewed. We're like 15-to-1. So that's why it's so important to work on our omega-3s. Get our omega-3s up higher and higher. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. Guess what omega-6s are? Pro-inflammatory. So if you're going to use corn oil, peanut oil, all these other kind of vegetable oils that have high omega-6s, you are setting yourself up for more inflammation in your body. That's why I would prefer you to use avocado oil, coconut oil, olive oil, all of those that have the higher omega-3s. Now, fatty fish we've talked about, nuts and seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds. I sound like a bit of a broken record. I feel like I say it in every class now because it seems like omega-3s come up in every single health and wellness class I teach. That just goes to show you how important they are. All right, and our last area is decreased vision. I have put together a vision class, so a whole hour all about eye health. It comes out next week on Saturday for some reason. Yes, it's on 10:30 Pacific Standard Time on the 15th, which is a Saturday. That's my first time teaching the eye health class. It's a whole hour on eye health. Again, it's kind of underrated, sort of like heart health. Not as many of you come to my heart class, but we kind of take our heart for granted. And guess what else we take for granted? Our eyes. Even if we wear glasses or we wear contacts or our eyes aren't perfect, we still take them for granted. As we age, our eyesight does change. And if you take the eyesight class, you will learn some amazing things on what actually changes as we get older. For example, I'll give you a tidbit. Our pupils get smaller when we get older. Do you know what that causes? 2 things it causes. It causes us in our 60s, I'm not quite there, but it causes us in our 60s to say to our 20-year-old kid, hey man, put some light on. How can you read in that corner? Meanwhile, the 20-year-old sitting there reading his novel, no problem. He can see everything. We need 3 times the amount of ambient light. Did you know that? A 60-year-old versus a 20-year-old, we actually need 3 times the amount of light. So reading light, the natural light or the light to be able to see what they can see at 20. There's a change in our eyes. Our pupils are smaller. When you have a smaller pupil, what else does that mean? That means that even on a day like today here, it's not that sunny, but it's a bit glary. Now that I feel old, a little old, I have to put my sunglasses on when I first go out. Other people might be walking around, no problem, but we can't handle glare anymore. It takes our eyes longer to adjust. There's another example of what happens to our eyes. All right, that's just a tidbit on the eye class. All right, what's the thing we can do to help our decreased vision if we're having decreased vision? Well, number 1, get regular checkups. Let your doctor, eye doctor, take a look at your eyes. Let them do the tests where they check the pupils and they do all the fancy stuff. If we can maintain our body weight, we can reduce our risk of getting diabetes. Diabetes, unfortunately, one of the big diseases with diabetes is that diabetic retinopathy, which affects the little blood vessels behind our eyes and can cause us to not be able to see very well. So I want you to do protective eyewear, sunglasses for sun damage, eyewear if you're cutting the lawn or doing anything where you might hurt your eyes. But what can we do naturally to improve our eyesight? And you can actually reverse your eyesight. Did you know that? Like if you have your eyesight as a certain way today, if you take some of these things seriously, you can actually reverse and improve your eyesight. Isn't that nice to know? You can actually reverse it. I'm always happy when I find out things that I can reverse because, you know, you feel bad that happened and you're like, I need to reverse this. So vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, and zinc. Those are your big ones that can really help ward off those diseases that show up in older age, like macular degeneration. Macular degeneration you'll learn in the eye class, but basically macula is part of the retina. So when it degenerates, the macula in the back of your eye, the retina, starts to deteriorate. All your colorful fruits and vegetables, that's all you have to think of with the eyes. You know, they talk about the orange, the beta carotenoid stuff, like the beta carotenes, carrots, you know, that's why carrots are great for your eyes. What else? Red peppers, broccoli, spinach, strawberries, sweet potatoes, citrus. And the other thing is the carotenoids, such as the lutein and the zeaxanthin. It's hard to say that word. Never get it out right. But it's in our green vegetables, in our broccoli, in our zucchini, and you have these carotenoids in eggs as well. All really great foods for our eyes. So that is the last slide. So those are your 7 ailments. We've gone through the healing power of plants and herbs and spices and our foods. We've learned a tiny little bit of history in terms of how we've come around looking at plants for our health. And we've talked about these 7 common ailments. So I'm just going to stop sharing just for a moment and just ask, does anybody have any questions, burning questions? We're almost at the end of the class, but we have a few moments. Maybe some of you are going to try some of these natural remedies. I love the cinnamon one because I think you can never have, you know, like my blood sugar level, I think one time when I was under stress, it was on the verge of out of the norm, almost. And I have diabetes that run in my family, so I was a bit worried. So I think that for me, sprinkling cinnamon on my food is no big deal. Increasing my omega-3s, I think that's something doable. All right, so in ending the class here, I just wanted to remind you that we have so many amazing classes on the Get Set Up schedule, and they keep adding them every day. There's new classes. So if you want to click on the schedule and kind of like look ahead, you might see a brand new class that you haven't seen before. So if you've been on the platform for a while, you'll be surprised. There's some really, even with the technology, they're coming out, they're teaching you about TikTok. I don't even know anything about TikTok other than I see people do videos. But apparently there's a class to learn what TikTok is all about. For example, I did one of Pilar's classes on 3 spicy sauces. I have it written out here because I made it to go with my salmon tonight. And it's got parsley and cilantro and garlic and olive oil. And you whiz it up in you make a really neat sauce, a green sauce, and you pour it on whatever you want. But I'm putting it on fish tonight. My Creating Your Morning Routines is one of my personal growth classes. So we've got a few of those. And I will send you a post email out so you'll get the notes just saying kind of what we talked about today. There will be a feedback button. Please, if you have any feedback, please fill it out. And we do read every single piece of feedback that you give us. So it helps us to improve our classes. That's the most important thing, is improving our classes. this is new. If you sign up for a class, you can now, you'll get this little pop-up that will come and it says invite a friend. Now this is the slide they gave me, so it is a little hard to read, but basically this little button comes up, invite a friend, and on mobile it will look red and it'll say invite a friend, and you click it and you can invite one of your friends to come and say, hey, I've signed up for this class, why don't you come to the class with me? So it's the exact class you signed up for, you can invite somebody to. And then lastly, just to remind you, if you do want a recording, you can send it on over to help@getsetup.io. You can also ask about an interest class that you might, interest group that you might want to set up. You might want to suggest a new class. You might want to share an organization you belong to that might like to partner with Get Set Up. We'd love to hear that. And Marlene is asking about a class on diabetes prevention, foods to eat. Yes, 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 yes. I am creating that as we speak. That's my next class to come out. I'm really looking at the cutting edge information out there. So you're going to hear some things that I didn't even know about until I started researching, and I've been a nurse for 30 plus years. So there's some new things about diabetes coming out, but the class is really going to focus on remission, because I truly believe that diabetes can be put into remission, meaning you still have the disease because there's not a cure, but you can have all your symptoms go away if you follow some of the guidance. So stay tuned for that, it's coming. Well, we are at the end. Unless you have a question, I will say goodbye, but I will stick around for a minute or two if you have a burning question. And I want to thank Harry for helping us out in class today. And it's nice to see my old friends, Arlene and Sam are here, and Wanda's here. These are people, and Christine, these are people that I know quite well because you come to my classes and I really appreciate it. And Alma, I haven't seen Alma. Alma hasn't put her camera on yet for me, but one day she will maybe. But thank you so much for being here. And yeah, this is my last class for today, but I am teaching 2 classes tomorrow. I'm doing my brain class tomorrow, and I'm doing nutrition. So if you're around tomorrow and you want some more nutrition, I always put nutrition in every class, by the way, as you can tell. I always like talking about food.
What time is your nutrition class?
The nutrition one is at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So that is 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the East, or 12 o'clock Central.
Oh, okay.
Will that fit your schedule?
No.
No? Okay.
No. Okay. Thank you.
Leona, great. Connection between diabetes and Alzheimer's is a real eye-opener. Yes, yes, Leona. And I'll say this to all of you, since the ones that are still left here. Do you know that some doctors are, well, we know type 1 diabetes is the kind that you need insulin shots, right? That's like unfortunate. It's like, it's not lifestyle related. It's you were born with type 1 diabetes. Type 2 is the one that we're all more familiar with probably. We used to call it adult onset, but guess what? We don't call it that anymore. We call it type 2. Guess what they call type 3 diabetes? Type 3 is Alzheimer's. Like there are doctors calling it type 3 because there's such a connection between diabetes and not having your insulin in check and getting Alzheimer's. But stay tuned for more of that in the other class. All right. Thank you, everybody. I look forward to seeing you again. Christine, I'd love to chat with you.
Thank you so much.
I sent you an email, Christine.
I saw it. Yeah, just before I logged in, I was
okay. Great.
I was running late.
Oh, no problem. No problem. It's just good to see everybody. Thanks for coming, Bev.
Hey, thank you. It was great.
All right. Christina, I'm gonna send you a. Do you want to Zoom, or can you Zoom? Okay, I'll send you a quick thing. Okay, thanks everybody. Bye, Harry.
Okay, I'll go ahead and log out and look for your Zoom.